audience, then embarrassedly hid her face. The lead scientist said, "Here comes the computer analysis of how Mason will go. In a week or two, he will just have stubs for arms and legs. Then in a month, if he's lucky, he will just have his body and head. In the months from now, well, I hate to say this, but he'll just be a head." The lead sci- the leader said, looking serious. The lady cracked up with laughter and ran out of the room. The lead scientist said, starting to laugh himself, "Now this isn't funny. What would you do if you were in Mason's condition?" Mason's younger clone, replica of himself, stood up and said, "I have known Matt all my life, and I know him better than anyone else. We didn't grow up together, and we didn't have the same parents, but since he is so much like me, I'm so much like him, I believe that if it happened to me, I'd want people to tell the truth about me and how they really felt. But I certainly wouldn't want people laughing at me. I think when you talk to Matt, be serious and think positive. But don't laugh, no matter how funny he looks, or sounds, for that matter." Mason number 2 sat back down. The leader said, "Now let's talk about the strange metamorphosis that has taken place with Mason number 1. When the lead scientist started talking about Mason's condition, Callisto suddenly jumped up out of his seat and began to stare at the scientist. What What is it, Callisto?" asked the lead scientist. Callisto leaped into the air and landed in front of the lead scientist, shocking him and all the other people in the room. "I know what you're thinking," shouted Callisto crazily, confusing everyone. The leader asked, "What am I thinking?" Callisto started breathing hard, grasped his big green head, and shouted, You're thinking a brick wall." Callisto was wrong, of course, and he began squeezing his head with his hands, making everyone wonder what was going on. Callisto, who didn't show his emotions, started laughing at the top of his lungs and banging his head on the wall. Callisto shouted, "I can do anything. Watch me pick up this chair with my mind." Callisto rolled onto the ground and started trying to levitate a chair with his mind, frightening some people in the room. The leader called the doctors of sickbay and had Callisto put into intensive care. A few minutes passed, and they returned to the room. "What was the matter with my brother?" asked Callisto number 2. The leader said, "Remember that capsule Callisto said Mason took from him and supposedly destroyed? Well, apparently it never fell into Mason's hands. Callisto hid it from us and decided to take all of the supposed youth drug, making you immortal and giving you powers. We checked his blood, and we found that it wasn't some strange chemical that could give you powers, but that it was Kasuma, a drug closely related to the old LSD drug. Callisto will probably be acting strange for several weeks now." An hour had passed, and the interested scientists and doctors were studying